London's most colourful chef, Gordon Ramsay, is having a very bad day.
Christ almighty. I'm getting slightly embarrassed already. Can't help but get agitated because there's no brains going into it. 6 is the largest table, Neil. Sarge.
Yes, good.
I don't understand why you do any more than that.
His long-suffering staff are preparing top-quality food, but at a risk. The pressure is really on from the boss.
Christ almighty. Huh? Sometimes I think it's me over-exaggerating, you know that? Huh?
But Ramsay claims that there's a reason for the pressure.
Sometimes, unfortunately, there's things that have gone on that I, release and combined the hurt and other items throughout that particular day to offload them.
The key to Ramsay's troubles can be found in a small town in the west of England. It's where his younger brother Ronald lives.
He's been an addict now for close to 5 years.
Ronald is addicted to heroin.
It's a great sadness, and I dread the phone call one day. I really do. I dread it because I can't see any way out at the moment.
It's become a Ramsay family drama.
The person I don't want to see, really hurt is Mum. So she's been through all this before, and now it's my turn to take it on my shoulders and deal with it.
Gordon and Ronald grew up in Glasgow together.
I mean, I'm not saying that because I'm looking for sympathy, but at times it hurts because I've got no one.
It's very easy for that family to believe that they're a victim of this person, whereas in reality, the entire family is a victim of heroin.
It's come between Tana and I as well. We haven't fallen out over it, but it got thin 2 or 3 times because she's never been exposed to that kind of society, and I'm just not going to jeopardise my relationship with Tana.
So Gordon's letting off steam on the rising stars amongst his kitchen staff.
I've never seen a bunch of fucking big-headed, egotistical in all my life. Never, ever.
Yeah.
Douze, monsieur. Can you take it by the hand, please, Jean-Claude? Get out of the way. Get out of the way, Sergeant.
I could get seriously upset, with a chocolate tart, but if I've just spent an hour and a half on the telephone to Ronald and he's, been using methadone, and I feel gutted.
They can't send it like that, guys. Sarge, stop! I wish someone had a bit of control here somewhere along the line.
But Ramsay's not just letting it out in the kitchen. Some might say he's running away from his problems by training for his first ever marathon.
The marathon is, it's going to be bloody hard work, there's no two ways about that.
At 17 stone, the 6'1" ex-footballer is hardly ideal marathon fodder.
Everyone's telling me to slow down and don't drop and don't end in St Thomas's Hospital in the back of St John's ambulance.
Can he make it? Even his best friend has his doubts.
I think he'll get a blister, and I think he'll pull out, or he'll hurt his calves.
And can he find a route to beat his problems? In an attempt to deal with Ronald's addiction, Ramsay went into rehab with him.
I got told that I was an addict. I was a perfectionist, and it's an addiction.
Clouds, a rehabilitation clinic favoured by celebrities, made Ramsay paranoid when Gordon and Ronald went into family therapy.
I could not walk back in the doors home and explain to Tana what I've just gone through. She doesn't know that I got called an addict.
Ramsay just couldn't cope.
Throughout all the therapy, I took it on my shoulders because I felt guilty, because being successful, he rebels against that. So you can't help but blame yourself. Ronald's taken everything from me and it still hasn't worked. That day, leaving Clouds, I had to get out.
Ramsay says he's spent over £20,000 on rehab for Ronald, but it hasn't worked yet.
For everyone who's addicted to heroin, if a thorough assessment of their situation is carried out, the correct treatment can be identified. It may not be the easiest one for them, but it will be the best one, and there's a good chance of it working.
I feel far much better now because I've done it. I've got to the very, very top. I've climbed the very, very top with him. I've put him through rehab, and I've been there. I've had tears with him on the telephone. We've gone fishing together. We've slept on a beach together. We've lit a fire together, and we've gone to hell and back.
Back in the kitchen, the staff are solemn. Ramsay is in an even worse mood and ready to humiliate anyone he can, even the kitchen porter.
Mamadou, come here. 2 large trays in the pass, please. Putain, tu dormes, là. Sanjak out, Harry. 4 Sanjak Prestige in, please. Then, you numbfuck. Hey, come here. Come here. Mamadou. 2 grands plateaux. Jesus Christ.
Wait.
Come on. Look at him.
Merci.
Merci.
But things are about to get better. Ramsay receives a phone call from someone who he thinks is a prank caller.
We had a phone call from the government hospitality. I actually thought it was some wind-up, and so I didn't really take it that serious. I passed the details on to the office, and it was Downing Street, asking would I be so kind to come and cook for the Prime Minister and the newly elected President Putin on Monday lunchtime, which I was very chuffed about, really. I didn't think naughty boys ever got a chance to go to 10 Downing Street.
With Ramsay set to take centre stage as the Noel Gallagher of Brit cooking, the kitchen atmosphere has improved, slightly, until more linguistic problems get in the way.
All these trays of shit everywhere. Hey, look, caviar here. I mean, fucking hell. The customer don't want to see that, Paul.
No go.
Paul.
No go.
Yeah? Okay, go. Table 8, là. Go, table 8. Fuck's sake. Does it don't understand? Is he French? What is he?
No, il parle français,
What is he?
italien.
He's Italian.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Hotel Olympia 2000, the catering industry's annual trade fair. Before he takes up his invitation to number 10, Ramsay's got to go and support Marcus Waring, his rival, business partner and best friend, at his first public demonstration.
Relationships changed in many ways because, you know, I treat Marcus as a partner, not as a chef.
But Ramsay's doing his very best to put Marcus off.
He always delays everything. He's never on time. And he knows that this is my first demonstration and he's been looking forward to this for a long, long time now.
What do you think of those hairs on his arm, Ken?
Yeah.
Look. Marcus, you don't think you should have a shave before you go? Should we stand over there so it looks a bit fuller?
As Marcus demonstrates how to pan-fry red mullet, Ramsay's preoccupied with other thoughts.
Allow it to relax on its own, so then let the flesh relax.
But he soon meets an old rival of his own.
Better than you, Gordon.
He's doing very
Better
well.
than
Want to
you.
watch this one? How are you?
You all right?
Yeah, fine, and you? Good.
Well, I'll see Steve. Oh, I'll see you Thursday.
Better than you.
Where it is, Paragon.
Good boy.
Same place last time. Just get a small garnish onto the plate. And just a touch of ginger.
You don't work no more.
I don't work no more. You're having a fucking laugh, aren't you?
Huh?
Who told you that? I don't work no more. Who told you that?
All friends of yours.
Deep fried.
Although it's been a success for Marcus, Ramsay's pride has been ruffled by his brush with a mocking chef.
Well done, Marcus.
Now it's hit the tabloids. Ramsay's decided to go public on his brother's addiction.
I can talk about it openly now because he's relapsed again for the 3rd, 4th time, and I don't know. It's got to. It's out my system now because I've been there, done that, and done every possible support, given him everything I could possibly do to get him through it.
And to make matters worse, down in the West Country, Ronald has been charged with theft from the local supermarket.
Now it's you know, thieving and using to fund his needs. So it's going to go up big time. He's in court on Monday, and if he gets sent away for 2 or 3 months, then you know, there'll be an adverse effect from that.
It isn't a choice. They really are addicted to it. They will actually prioritise obtaining the drug over everything else in their life. And when I say everything else, I mean their family, their relationships, their work, their physical health, everything.
So, with Ronald due in court next week, and even more aggro in the kitchen...
You're not bothered, are you, Sarge? Fucking useless.
How on earth will Ramsay cope with running a marathon and cooking for the Prime Minister all in the same weekend? Monday morning in a sleepy town in southwest England. Ramsay's younger brother Ronald is due to appear in court once again for petty theft to support his heroin addiction. He's going alone with only cameras and reporters as company. Meanwhile, his elder brother Gordon Ramsay is in his kitchen, preoccupied with developing a menu for the lunch that he has to cook at number 10. But for the staff, the gig at Downing Street is also a chance to get out of the kitchen, and rising star Sarge has volunteered to be Ramsay's assistant.
It's not the fact I'm trying to kiss his arse, I'm not trying to creep round him, it's because it's what I enjoy doing. I don't mind giving up a weekend, or I don't mind giving up a Saturday or something like that to do it, because it's not a case of, you know, oh God, I'm not going to be able to go out for another beer. It's the case of going along doing something that I enjoy.
So is Sarge the new blue-eyed boy of the kitchen? That doesn't mean that he gets spared from being Ramsay'd in front of the others.
Sarge is bouncing around like a bloody ballerina with panache, with character oozing. So you can see he's, you know, clipping at the heels. Sarge, yes, if you're going to bounce around, I'd rather go in the pastry. Yes, Sarge, I've warned you about it before. Yes. Sarge, because all jumping around, flipping around, you're knocking into him, he's knocking into you. Yes. If you turn around and address the brigade properly, we may get it out. Do you understand? Yes, Lord. You put the lids on rather than standing staring at me, no? You could do that, couldn't you? Yes, Lord. Not appetising sounding, then.
And Ramsay's keen to distance himself from accusations of favouritism.
We've got all the aspirations of Sarge becoming a talented chef, but the one question that I hold behind, you know, has he got the bollocks to maintain it?
I get more bollockings than most people in the kitchen because I suppose Gordon wants me to progress as much as he thinks I can.
Sarge, they can't serve any more than 6 at one time, just like we can't. Why are you doing it at 14 then? What's going to happen to the last 4 with a granite? Well done, Sarge, gold star.
Meanwhile, in the West Country, Ronald Ramsay's court case has been heard. Having pled guilty to charges of petty theft, Ronald's leaving the court with 2 years probation and a place on a funded drug rehabilitation programme.
He got given a 2-year probation, which is bloody lucky, very, very lucky indeed. He's off methadone. He's looking now to enter rehab, a secondary clinic where there's not such a strict confinement. Gives a bit more freedom.
Ramsay and Sarge are putting the finishing touches to the Downing Street menu.
Mark Sargent's going to be the resident chef there next year. Tony wants to go for his first star.
The special menu consists of British produce with a Russian influence. It includes a caviar dish for Putin, as well as ham knuckle terrine for Blair.
I'm not too sure about Putin. Do you know, Putin reminds me too much of putain.
Putain is French slang for prostitute.
Okay, Mark, what do you think? Yeah, very nice. Yeah? Nice and light? Yep. It's got a bit of a Russian sort of influence to it. Yeah? It's KGB free. Sorry, it's GM free.
But there's already been friction between the bad boy of cooking and number 10.
I asked if I could use my own china. And he said, no, you can't, because the space. They've got some dreadful china with all these horrendous emblems on with ER. All this ghastly green and grey stuff. And their size of their main course plates are the same size as my saucers.
Downing Street, I can't imagine having too much of a well-stocked kitchen in the terms that we're used to. You know, with all the stoves in a very professional kitchen. We've taken all our own pots and pans and everything like that. So we've got items of equipment that we're going to be used to. But we know the dishes, and so hopefully it should be fine.
I asked if we could, bring my own team of waiters in and serve it, but they want to use their butlers. They're not called waiters, they're butlers. They've been properly trained. They all starch their underpants, and they look immaculately dressed.
But even the boisterous Ramsay's getting butterflies about serving a real power lunch.
There is, no equipment whatsoever, so I'm not too sure. I'm positive it's going to work. I mean, I just hope they eat it. That's the most important. Okay, so the sea bass with crushed new potatoes, confit tomato, white asparagus, and lovely girolles.
Dawn on the day of the marathon. Ramsay's got to cook at Downing Street the very next day.
Nice, it's like this.
But first, he has to run just over 26 miles. None of his family are optimistic about him making it.
See you at the hospital. See you later.
But Ramsay's confident.
I think it's fresh enough, no, this morning?
At the starting line in Greenwich, Ramsay's getting nervous. He's one of several celebs running the marathon. Although Frank Bruno also weighs in at about 17 stone, at least he has been training assiduously, which is a lot more than Ramsay can say.
How are you feeling, Gordon? I feel fine, but I don't think we should be this close to the front. Not when we're standing in front of the world champion. Or standing behind the world champion.
But the competitive chef still believes that he can do it.
What time are you going to do it in? 3:45. Come on, in your dreams.
Ramsay's determined to make his target time of 3 hours 45, but he has 32,000 other people to contend with. Ramsay's still going, but others have long since arrived. Just 1 hour after his target time, Ramsay crosses the finishing line.
Oh, Jesus.
As an ex-Glasgow Rangers player, it's not his first stint at physical effort. But that was nearly 15 years ago, and Ramsay wasn't quite prepared for this.
Yeah, that was a killer. Stopped twice. Did you? Yeah, cramp. Bad and just seriously stiff.
And Ramsay seizes up again.
Oh God, I've already got cramp. Oh shit.
But with Downing Street just hours away, cramp's the least of Ramsay's worries.
The only information I know about Putin is the fact that he used to head the KGB. So let's hope the kitchen doesn't go up.
The very next morning, and the political atmosphere is tense.
Morning, Prime Minister.
Good morning.
As Tony Blair prepares for the visit, Ramsay and Sarge have to run the gauntlet of Chechen demonstrators to make it safely to the front door of number 10. And Ramsay's carrying the effects of the marathon.
I was a bit fucked getting up in the morning because my legs were slightly stiff. It felt like I had two big hard-ons in my knees. Couldn't walk. So I went up the lift, Sarge took the stairs, and I was like walking around. I felt like a butler, stiff.
Totally different to what I thought it would be like, really. I imagine this big, grand sort of house with big lots of grand rooms, long tables, board meetings and things like that on there. But basically it was like the inside of an old hotel. That's the only way I can describe it, because there are lots of like service elevators and little kitchens with old dinner ladies in doing the washing.
So we sat in between them. Didn't want to stand too long against that sort of small, powerful man from Russia. I wasn't feeling that comfortable. It's like standing in between two Michelin inspectors from each side of the country.
Back to reality for Ramsay. Since his brother Ronald's appearance in court, things haven't got better, and the Ramsays have come to a difficult decision.
We went through recovery and relapse. Where do you draw the line? We've had many discussions, Tan and I and Mum, and it's always ended up in the same discussion. You know, it's got to be now tough love.
Gordon's decided to try and cure his brother by cutting him off.
It's so easy to look at the person who uses heroin as a bad person. They're a good person, but their behaviour needs adjusting. But they are all victims of the drug, not of the user.